Hi, and welcome again. Once again, it's one of my weekly rants. And yeah, this week it's going to be about religion. I thought, if you're going to pick one, you've got to pick one that's going to be offended. Offend the most people as possible when you're just starting your channel. But no, it's not actually about offending people. It's about how they're being portrayed on the news and the negative image that the news is consistently given to people. For example, if you turn around and said, think of a terrorist, first things you'd probably think, and what I'd probably say now, because of such negative feedback from the news, is I'd probably think, oh, it's probably based on ISIS or something like that, which is a Muslim group. However, if you go back not that far ago, religion was a bigger part of terrorism in the UK. Not using Muslims, but actually between Protestants and Catholics. If you're wondering what I'm thinking about Northern Ireland and Ireland in general. It used to be fully owned by the UK. The UK revoked most of its permissions other than the north of Ireland. But this was fiercely disputed for years upon years by a group known as the IRA. The IRA done a lot of bombings from into Birmingham and other places like that. And again, on the news, they were layering on this big, thick, fat, these guys are bad, they kill all your innocents. But you think about it, they're just activists. They're actively hating that the government is trying to suppress them. For example, in the IRA, they didn't like that the UK was suppressing them. They didn't like that Ireland couldn't run their own laws in Ireland, and it was all based on church, what church you was, and that. I'm a Roman Catholic, and the stuff I've heard that we did go back many centuries. The Crusades, these quote unquote holy wars, brutal. The Roman Catholics are the single most biggest slaughterers in the world, and yet, oh yeah, the Catholics, oh, they're perfectly peaceful. Yeah, holy war is never peaceful. Using your religion to justify a cause to attack someone. No, I don't think that's a really good religion. I might be a Roman Catholic, but I'm not a practicing Roman Catholic. And from my point of view, I don't understand why there was such animosity between Protestants and Catholics, because if you dig down and think the only reason Protestants exist is because King Henry VIII couldn't get married, so he said, right, the Roman Church refuses to marry me, right, I'm going to make the Church of England, and that's how Protestants came around. So it was a bit, really guys, it's the same religion, if you scrape away a little bit. So yeah, I thought that was quite amusing. I know why there was a lot of animosity against the UK and Ireland. We can just bring up Bloody Sunday and the articles about people being shot, and they'd been shot in the chest, from left to right of the chest, and the bullet never went through their arms. The only way you can shoot from left to right is if your arms are up in the air, trying to flee, and showing that you're not actually an enemy. So with that, it's like, yeah, okay. How are you quite justifying that? you can't really justify if you're going around killing people that are trying to surrender. It doesn't wash. Like I said, at the moment, the Muslims are getting a very bad image for peace. They're getting a very bad image for a minority, and it's the minority that the news is focusing on. And I hate that, because there are so many Muslims in the world, and they are so peaceful, so laid back, and so friendly, that you don't really understand why the news is focusing so badly on them. My belief is that mostly the government is trying to suppress them, and so what they want to try and do is generate hate. If I want to get into the nitty and gritty, I mean, don't forget about the Jews and what the Nazis did with them. Whether or not the dispute about numbers is, I'm not going to go there. What the Nazis did was wrong. What the numbers are is questionable, because the amount of people that they've said are killed, and then they've gone and counted, and they've gone, hold on, these numbers don't add up. So I'm not going to go into that minefield. But yeah, the Jews were heavily killed in the Second World War. Not disputing it. I know that's what happened. I'm just questioning the numbers. I'm not going to lie. I do sympathise with what Adolf Hitler was preaching about, apart from the extermination of a religious race. That's not right. I know that because wear glasses, and I've got certain problems, I probably would have been killed under Hitler, and you have to, I accept that, and that I don't admire him for what he did or what he stood for. I admire what he was able to do. Don't forget, Adolf Hitler was a spy. He's a very talented person, and his job was actually to go into extremist parties and find out what they were about. Are they going to become a problem? And if they are, go and inform the government so that they can suppress them or squish them, basically. The only reason that didn't happen with the Nazis was because he went there, he enjoyed what they said. What he'd done was brutal and horrible. But there were certain things that he'd done, some of the inventions he came up with for weapons of war, quite interesting. If you read up and study a little bit, he actually done he was very hands-on with designing ways of beating back an army force. It's sad, to say about that, but it's one of the things, so, again, like I said, this is just about religion in general. At the moment, I'm thinking that the way the Muslims are being portrayed is very poor. The other ones that I can think of at the moment, it's been Jordan, again, with Israelites and so on and so forth. Israeli and Israel. I'm not sure. It's the Gordon Strip. I've known for pretty much all my life there to be conflict there. So I think if there's always been conflict there, I think there always will be. Is that a good thing? No, because at the end of the day, people are just trying to live. People are trying to survive. They don't want to be killed because of their religion. So, no, I don't, that can't be good. What people are saying about, I'm a jihad, like suicide bombers and stuff. I don't. If you believe in that, then fair enough. I'm not going to try and argue, because at the end of the day, it's your belief. You cannot change someone's belief. You can not agree, or, not understand it. That's fine. But the worst thing to do is like what the Nazis were trying to do, and that's trying to enforce a new religion onto you. Catholics, again, very bad for it. You will join our religion or you will die. That was pretty much in medieval times. If you refused, you was usually classified as a witch or something else, and you'd probably have been hung, burnt as a witch, or drowned. Not a very good time, so yeah. The other thing is with Catholics at the moment, they're being very negatively shown as well on the news. Like I've said, we are one of the biggest killers in the world. Well, in the past we were one of the biggest killers in the world because of the Crusades. We're talking millions of people were killed in the Crusades, and it wasn't. We shouldn't have done it, basically. Well, in my opinion, but the image that the church has got at the moment is that all the priests are nonces and they all touch up small boys. Okay, fair enough. I'm glad I didn't go to church when I was a small boy. Yeah, I'm sorry about that one. Yeah, I think that's mostly it. It's mostly the Jews, the Muslims, and the Catholics always getting into conflict. What's your opinions? Let me know, and hit subscribe, hit like, hopefully. And I'll make another one of these up in a few days. Yeah, if you want me to go on something else, or specific article, leave me a comment and I'll get back in touch, hopefully.